Alright, so this is going to be a tarot reading about Taylor Swift and Sophie Turner. The reason I'm doing this reading is because I saw recently that Sophie Turner and Taylor Swift were hanging out together. And I don't know how many people know this, I'm sure everyone does, but Sophie Turner is married to Joe Jonas. She's currently getting a divorce. And Taylor Swift once dated Joe Jonas. So it's like she's hanging out with his ex-girlfriend. I wanted to figure out why and what was going to happen. So I asked those two questions. The bottom row is why they were hanging out. The top row is what's going to happen between Taylor and Sophie. Now for why, I'm going to go into the meaning of each card and then we're going to interpret it together. So Nine of Cups reversed is the first card we got. And it's when reversed, ego steps in, and with it self-centeredness and emotional disconnection. This can manifest as smugness. More commonly in readings, the Nine reversed tells a tale of narcissism. You are faced with others' inability to see beyond their own immediate needs. This influence can infect personal and professional relationships, which suffer as others forge ahead with their agendas for short-term gain, leaving you bruised. However, it's also worth asking yourself if you are the one overstriving for recognition, sidelining others in the process. In personal and business projects, uncertainty rules due to misunderstandings, and your plans may be delayed. Creativity can suffer at this time too, with stop-start-stop frustration. Focus on maintaining balance and routine to help you navigate these difficult waters, and hold on to those dreams and schemes. This may not be the right time for new ideas to flourish, but this doesn't diminish your worth or the strength of your concepts. Take extra care of yourself and your relationships now, as energy levels may be low. Hibernate a little until that spark returns. So this is a Pisces card. So all that stuff that you heard about self-centeredness and self-gain is going to be in relation to Sophie. So right off the bat, what it's saying is that the reason Sophie's hanging out with Taylor is for petty, superficial reasons. So it's like she kind of wanted to take a stab at Joe. Like now she's hanging with Taylor because that's something that obviously would upset him. So she did it for the clout, basically, but not the clout in the sense where it's like she did it because she wanted clout from Taylor. No, it's because she wanted to superficially hurt Joe and make the media go into a frenzy like it did. So goal accomplished. Now moving on to the next, we're going to do the Hermit. When reversed, you may be feeling alone and unsupported. However, this is more an attitude than reality, so it's worth asking yourself if you are avoiding help. The card can also show accepting a role, perhaps victim or martyr, that you find hard to let go of due to habit or stubbornness. Alternatively, the card can show a time when you are cut off from your usual support systems or have been unfriended by those you trusted. If this chimes, you go with the... Okay, so basically what this is saying too is Sophie, another reason why she's hung out with Taylor is because she wanted the support. Taylor publicly bashed Joe in the past for breaking up with her through a text message. So it's kind of like she went to her because she's like, well, you know what he's like, you know? Like they're both bonding over what he's like. And any support that she doesn't feel like her usual support system that maybe she had that cut her off because of Joe, she now has through Taylor. Now let's go to the upright meaning of temperance. Temperance is a Sagittarius, and that is Taylor. Temperance shows you dealing with a potentially volatile situation, and you need to temper your thoughts and actions to find balance and harmony. This means choosing neither one nor the other, but blending two opposing forces to create an inspired solution. The card also asks you not to resist, but to accept both sides of a situation and be guided by what feels most natural to you. It is time to reconcile any area of your life that is out of kilter. Be hands-on. You can analyze what you might do for eons, but what matters now is action. Temperance also shows you are connecting with your guides and angels. You may be given a sign, such as advice from a friend, or even a stranger whom the angels have sent to help you. This may also be the beginning of a spiritual journey for you. In your projects which you imagine you can create, you may also be inspired by an invention or work of art from the past. This stage in a relationship when you can reach a new level of trust. If you are single, you may be guided toward a new partner. It's an emotionally intense time. This is basically saying that what I said in the last card. She went to Taylor for a specific kind of support because Taylor knows what it's like to date Joe. Taylor also knows what it's like to win against Joe in the media, which is a huge part of this. Taylor came out on top. Sophie wants to come out on top. So if Sophie remains with Taylor, she will come out on top. At least that's what she thinks. The funny thing is, though, is that Sophie's already coming out on top. She didn't really need Taylor, but I'm not going to fault her for hanging out with her. But I know it was like a petty move, but, Joe also did petty moves, so do we really care? Okay, now 10 of Cups reversed. When reversed, the 10 of Cups retains much of its positive vibe, but with some irritating and undercurrents and changes in friendships and family bonds. A family issue may need to be addressed as your routine is disrupted, or you sense discord in some relationships. Also, you may feel that you're not getting an entitlement from respect. Your plans to bring friends and family together may falter due to miscommunication. Equally, the need to keep up appearances prevents authentic conversations and understandings. This makes complete sense, by the way, because what it's saying is, in my last reading, it talked about how Joe and Sophie were going to come together to some kind of understanding, but this card is saying that something happened that's delaying that. Something very specific. So there's too much miscommunication, and it's also saying they're not having authentic conversations because they're both trying to win in the media war. So it's impossible for them to talk to each other because they're both trying to look better than the other person with the media. But anyways, let's continue. Friends may also prove troublesome under the influence of the reverse of 10. And as a result, one or two confidants step back from your circle or introduce you to a new friend of theirs with whom you don't feel comfortable, which upsets your usually happy dynamic. However, other people you prefer will soon come into your orbit to take their place. Do bear in mind, however, that these are temporary glitches rather than major challenges, and that the reverse 10 of Cups override meaning is still positive. You guys, I'm kind of worried here. I'm kind of worried about the friendship between Taylor and Sophie, because I'm kind of getting hints that it's temporary. Like Sophie goes to her to get support, and then, because up here it looks bad. It looks like something's going to happen, like some kind of betrayal. I wonder if Taylor invests in Sophie, like emotionally supporting her, and then Sophie changes her mind about going after Joe. Because you have to remember, this is also the father of her children, so she's going to have a different emotional attachment to Joe than Taylor did. I think Taylor dated Joe for like 2 weeks, maybe 1 week or something. Meanwhile, Sophie married and had a whole family with him. So if Taylor, I guess, expects Sophie to completely turn, even if she seems like it right now, it's not going to happen. Okay, Queen of Pentacles reversed. When this card is reversed, finances can suffer, money relied upon doesn't roll in, or funds are misappropriated. You may have to deal with the impact of someone's financial mishaps. This is temporary, however. An additional meaning is your home is neglected, while other concerns take over. As a person, the reverse queen can be stubborn and unimaginative. She can be mean with money, or at the other extreme, an emotional spender. Her erratic behavior is for self-comfort, or she uses money to buy other people's affection. So this is not about money. I know it sounds about money, but it's about emotional support. So in this case, money you relied upon doesn't roll in. This would mean emotional support you relied upon doesn't roll in. That's another sign that I think Taylor and Sophie are not going to last here. And I think there's going to be like an annoying fight on both of their ends. 7 of Wands reversed. When reversed, the 7 of Wands can indicate that you doubt your purpose. You may struggle to be heard and may have to overcome constant obstacles but now it's unclear if it's all going to be worthwhile. As a result, the card can show anxiety and hesitation. An additional meaning is feeling overwhelmed with continual problems, particularly if the 7 appears with the burden card, the 10 of Wands. If so, the message here is to focus on the areas where you can still make a difference while accepting the things you cannot change. This applies to relationships too, so ask which imperfections you can live with and which aspects, such as your partner's attitude or circumstances, are non-negotiable. I'm gonna keep reading the meanings, and then we'll interpret it, because I need to know where this is going. I already have a hint, but I don't want to jump until I'm there. I don't want to be the fool. Okay, the Fool reversed is what you're proposing or a situation offered to you a leap too far. The Fool reverse brings out his irresponsible side, as his mouth works ahead of his brain. Without thinking through the downsides, the Fool makes decisions that are not wise. The reverse Fool leaps without awareness and so becomes the literal idiot, sabotaging his chances due to desperation and irrationality. Think carefully before agreeing a new approach to work, and hold back from emotional commitments until you are sure of your ground. This is really not boding well for Taylor and Sophie's friendship, but let me keep going. Because it's basically saying that Sophie went to Taylor out of emotional desperation. So it's almost like this could backfire against her, and I think it will. Upright meaning. The upright meaning of the Three of Swords is direct in its meaning and reveals the pain of truth. The clouds of doubt are cleared, and you can do nothing but face reality. This is a common card for relationship betrayal and can denote affairs or disloyalty in other life areas, such as work, relationships, and business dealings. On a more positive note, you do get right to the heart of the matter. Any confusion is banished, and you are now in a position to begin to move on from shock to begin the healing process and move forward. Again, like I said before, betrayal somewhere in this friendship. But it might be like a slight betrayal, like I said, where it's more, it's not like I stabbed you in the back, but more like I'm talking shit about him now. I'm putting you in my business, and then I'm gonna go be his friend, like Sophie. That's why you should never get involved, for the record, with people's relationships, because it's always going to be like you can support them, but I wouldn't go out of my way to do it, because people are always going to come to you for emotional support, and then they're going to go back to whatever fulfills them more emotionally, which is not your friendship, it's their relationship. I'm not saying Sophie and Joe are going to get back together. I'm saying she is more emotionally invested in Joe than she will ever be in Taylor. So even if Taylor supports her and is like the best friend in the world, it will never compare, because she had children with Joe. That's always why, like, I advise people against going and backing someone when something ends, because they're always going to go be their friend again, or like go be decent with them, and then you're always going to be left on the outs, which is kind of like here. I think Taylor's going to feel used, and she will have every right to feel used, because in a way she was. Ace of Pentacles reversed. When the Ace reverses, it reveals greed and holding fast to one outcome. This desperation could cause materialistic thinking, and when you are fixed to one goal, other aspects of your life may suffer. The card can show unwise investment of time. See, this is what I'm saying. So be aware of the motives of those you invest with or work for. This can be a difficult time when you are treated unfairly by an unscrupulous person or organization. Money for work you have done may not materialize. The reverse Ace of Pentacles also shows financial mismanagement and mistakes. As a protection card in a reading, it advises not to make major financial decisions at present. In personal relationships, the card can show that someone close becomes grasping and materialistic and selfishly wants to keep everything for themselves. So this is exactly what I've been saying. Taylor is emotionally supporting Sophie, and it's going to backfire. Everything that she puts into this friendship is not going to pay off. She might as well just bounce. I know she's supporting her, and I think it's a genuine and like honorable thing to do, to support someone in a time of need and to back them up, and it's really great. And I do think that it's a good move on her part, but I just think that she's going to pay for it, because she's going to think that her and Sophie are more than they are, like more friends than they actually are. Sophie's just kind of using her for support right now, and Sophie does need the support, so it's like it's a genuine like I need you, but when she doesn't need her, it's going to be like a cold distance that's going to be pretty upsetting. So yeah, basically this whole thing is just saying that Sophie ran to Taylor for support and comfort. Taylor probably maybe even reached out, to be honest. But while it's nice that she's supporting her in the public, she probably shouldn't have. Because this is going to really do nothing for Taylor except give her that good PR for like 5 seconds. But it's just not, this friendship is just not going to sustain. It's not going to stand the test of time.